All right, it's your boy Double D coming at you with something a little different today. I bet you didn't know that I am also a miniature gamer as well as a role player. So, one of the games I discovered recently was a Western combat game called Gunfighters Ball, like gunfighting in the Old West. I have actually not played this game, so I've just gotten a couple of figure packs. One of them was a villain pack of historical villains, and one was a pack based on the spaghetti western characters, the main ones of Sergio Leone. So today I just figured we'd do something a little different, and we would paint up Frank from Once Upon a Time in the West, played by Henry Fonda. A great, great movie, a great, great role. Has that unforgettable beginning where he shoots the little kid when his name is said. So um, we're going to use the GW contrast paints mostly on this. Here I am just painting the flesh areas. I believe it's Guillemon flesh. And I'm not being real careful about getting it on, overflow areas because there'll be a darker color going on there. Now, this character is mainly black, but he does have a few spots of other color, and one of them is the boots. And here I am using Agaros Dunes. Good color. Like the way this looks. It's great for this kind of a thing. Again, not being terribly careful, only because I know that there's going to be some black that's going to go ahead and meet the border of those boots. All right, so not looking like much so far. But, let's see what happens. I think in the actual movie, I think his holster and his gun belt was a little bit more black, but because there's so much black here, I fudged a little bit and painted this snakebite leather. Again, a GW contrast. These GW contrast paints are really, really good. They kind of shade things and cover them all at the same time. I still think in some areas a wash is good afterwards. And you'll see later on we put a little wash over this belt just to kind of make it pop just a little bit more. But yeah, that's the way you work with these contrast paints, is that you go from lighter to darker. So that's what we're doing here. Not too bad. All right. Now's where the main code comes, and this is just a lot of I think it's contrast Templar black. It's just their main black paint that they've had for a little while, and it covers pretty good. One thing I've done with this actually in my 40k armies is if you put this color, this black color, over a bright steel color, like I think Vallejo has a model air steel that's really bright silver. And you put this black over it, it makes this really cool, like blued steel effect. So I don't know if any of you are 40k players, but if you just want to mess around with that and see how that works for you, I kind of like that effect. But here we are just going for coverage. And there is, as you can tell, there is a lot of it. I've been playing a lot with my settings in Shotcut, and I'm still learning. I think I sped this up by 3 times, and probably should have sped it up by 5 times. But yeah, you can kind of see the process here. This is where you have to be a little bit careful. You did that work early with the lighter colors now, and you weren't careful, if you splashed it over, so to speak. But here's where you do kind of have to be a little bit careful. Gonna watch those borders and just take your time. Put a podcast on, put a YouTube video on, put one of my YouTube videos on. Yes. Yeah, we putting that iconic black hat, getting that all colored in. As you can see, still trying to figure out how to make the camera focus on command. So it's going to be a little rough, but just stick with it. I don't know, I like the effect at the end. I actually did all the others. This is the last one, and then I got the idea, like, oh man, I should make a video out of this, or at least just try it. So it was a little harder than I thought, but I actually did all the other figures, and I think some of them probably came out even a little bit better than this one. But at least here you can kind of see the process, and you kind of see how, I think, unintimidating GW contrast paints are to work with. Really just do a nice Xenothon Highlight. A Xenothon Highlight is just where you spray it black with spray, like a spray primer. And then from like over top or on the sides, spray it white. It kind of creates some pre-made shadows for you. And these GW contrast paints, they take to that very well. Because there's so much black, I actually went in and I painted his shirt over top the contrast black from GW. I just painted it like a flat black, I think from Vallejo, just to differentiate it a little bit. I think you need to do that when you have, so much of one color. You probably need to break it up a little bit and just doing a different shade. So here I'm actually putting some Agrax Earthshade on those boots. Might have gone a little bit too heavy here. Putting it also on the belt. I like the effect on the belt. I think it worked on the belt. I wish I would have lightened it up just a little bit on the boots, because I think they ended up being pretty dark. So right here, I lost my focus a little bit, but what I'm trying to do here is go back in and essentially blank out the hair to get another contrast paint on. So you gotta almost like use white paint as an eraser, because I wasn't very careful with the flare. So that's what I did there. Here I'm actually going in with some flesh highlights before I do that hair. And just doing the standard, cheekbone, end of nose, and chin. And just going along the hands, getting the knuckles, maybe the outer fingers. If the fingers are a little bit better defined, you can do each of them individually. I kind of didn't feel like doing them today. But yeah, you kind of see what I'm doing here. Just making them pop just a little bit more. I don't know if I showed it. I did put some Reichland flesh shade over that face before I did the highlights, so I might have missed that part, but yeah. So here's where I'm going back in and getting that hair. I think I'm just using a gray. It's the main gray for GW contrast. And because it's over white, it's probably still a little bit too white for me right now, so I just kind of went back over it just a little bit, just to kind of get that salt and pepper kind of look. So you see he's kind of coming together now, getting that belt buckle. Not many metallics on this. The gun is in the holster, so the I think you're really seeing there is the grip. I think we're also doing the spurs here. Just hitting them with a little bit of oily steel is the color I used for this metal. It's a good color from again from Vallejo, I believe. It's Vallejo or Army Painter? I think Vallejo. I like them both, but I like Vallejo a little bit better. All right. I think here I'm just kind of going over the maybe darkening up that leather just a little bit. Sorry about the out of frame here. I'm still trying to learn how to frame these miniatures while you're painting it. This is a lot harder than you think. You're trying to concentrate on doing a halfway decent job, but then you also have to remember to get it in frame. Here I'm using that gray color that I use the hair with, and I'm just kind of going in and trying to hit those shadows, with the coat. Maybe darken them up just a hair. And then finally, I'm just using some powdered weathering. Got this stuff at just Hobby Lobby. It's just Tamiya weathering powders, I think. Might have gone a little too heavy in a couple of spots, but for just a miniatures game, this is a-okay with me. Not too bad overall. Not too bad. And I will show you the final effect. Here are all of the Gunfighters. Some historical ones there. Not sure who some of these guys. One of them is Sam Starr. There's Tuco. There's Angel Eyes. And there's Clint. That was a really good one. I actually did pretty good on that one. Jean Maria Volante as the villain Ramon, I think in the first one. There's Charles Bronson. And there's our guy, all based and ready. All right, that's it.